quiet, atmospheric tone. There is a specific kind of isolation that comes with riding a motorcycle alone at night. You are exposed to the elements, moving fast, swallowed entirely by the darkness of a forest road. In one remote village in Andhra Pradesh, that isolation is taken very seriously. Once the clock strikes 9 p.m., the streets empty out. The locals simply refuse to go outside. Rahul, a young man visiting from Hyderabad for his friend Vijay's wedding, learned about this curfew the hard way. After leaving the late-night celebration to ride home alone, he completely vanished. The next morning, a search party found his motorcycle. It was standing perfectly upright, abandoned at the edge of the dense forest just outside the village limits. Beside the bike sat his helmet, and when they looked inside, they found 2 words smeared across the interior fabric padding in fresh blood: "Help me." The search party recognized the bloody message immediately. It was the physical evidence of a violation, the result of ignoring a warning that every local child learns before they are even old enough to drive. The village operates on an unbreakable rule for anyone forced to travel after dark. If you are riding a bike at night, you never, under any circumstances, take off your helmet. Before Rahul left the wedding, his friend Vijay gave him a secondary warning. If you are on that road and you hear someone call your name, do not hit the brakes, keep driving. Rahul, a city guy used to the logic of Hyderabad, laughed it off. He dismissed these hyper-specific, life-saving instructions as standard rural superstition. This mandate transforms the helmet into a physical seal, an enclosed barrier meant to keep the rider's senses separated from a predatory, unseen threat. We can piece together Rahul's final ride. He's entirely alone in the pitch black. His senses are muted by the helmet, leaving him hypnotized by the rhythmic, mechanical drone of his own engine. Then comes the trigger. Through the noise of the wind and the motor, he hears a voice tell him to stop. It's a voice he knows perfectly, his deceased sister. His immediate human instinct is to squeeze the brake lever, but Vijay's warning flashes through his mind. Do not stop, no matter who calls. Panic sets in. He cranks the throttle, pushing the bike to dangerously high speeds to escape the forest. But the faster he goes, the clearer the voice gets. Despite the roaring wind, his sister's voice cuts through, demanding that he take his helmet off. The threat has entirely bypassed the physical environment. Accelerating away from the location is useless because the source of the voice isn't out on the road. This 3D wireframe diagram illustrates the spatial paradox Rahul experiences. Notice how the red sound waves have zero connection to the outside world. They are originating directly from the interior padding of the helmet, bouncing inward against his skull. The voice is locked inside with him. Looking for any explanation, Rahul checks his rearview mirror. There is no one on the road behind him. Instead, superimposed on the inside of his own plastic visor, he sees the reflection of his dead sister's face, staring back with glowing red eyes. He violently claws at the chin strap, trying to rip the helmet off his head, but it won't budge. It feels fused to his skin and skull, trapping him with the hallucination as his fingers tear at his own flesh. The entity has converted a tool for physical safety into a claustrophobic cage. To understand how this trap works, look at the history of that specific stretch of road. Years ago, a young woman died there in a horrific motorcycle accident that destroyed her face. The crucial forensic detail of that accident is that she died while wearing her helmet. The sheer violence of the crash effectively bound her trauma to that specific type of object. Since then, the village has suffered under a curse that follows a strict logic, mapped out in this flowchart. The combination of a night ride and a helmet triggers Box 2, the auditory hallucination. That terror compels the rider to panic and remove the helmet, which guarantees the terminal outcome, a total physical disappearance. The curse never actually attacks its victims physically. It relies entirely on finding their psychological breaking point, essentially forcing them to pull the trigger on their own demise by breaking the one rule that keeps them safe. The entity leverages deep-seated psychological torment, like the voice of a dead loved one, to make the victim willingly eliminate their own protection. After the police finished cataloging Rahul's abandoned gear, the helmet was returned to Vijay's home and placed in a dark corner of the living room. Late that night, bathed in moonlight from a nearby window, Vijay's younger brother found the helmet. Curious and completely unaware of what happened on the road, he lifted it up and placed it over his head. For a moment, the room was totally silent. Then, deep inside the dark tint of the visor, the red-eyed reflection reappeared. The boy's hands began to tremble. He turned toward the hallway and whispered, "Brother, someone is calling me." The cycle had reset. A cursed location is easy to avoid, but horror becomes inescapable when mundane objects of safety, the things we rely on to survive the physical world, become vectors for psychological terror, weaponizing our own minds against us.